Welcome everyone to the Chris Perish podcast. My name is Chris Perish. You, my friends, are the best audience I've ever had. How are you guys doing? How is everyone's Sunday been? I am very excited for this episode. I hope you are too. First things first, I'd like to get a little bit of that house cleaning out of the way. And I hope everyone can appreciate that. But I do want to make sure that we plug in our sponsors, our beautiful sponsor, over to the left of me, right of me, whatever way you guys see. I see it one way, you guys see it the other way. But beercadewhyte, if you're looking at the ticker below, make sure you're checking out beercadewhyte, whether it's on X, beercadewhyte on Instagram, or beercadewhyte on Facebook, or even at 10544 82nd Street in Edmonton, Alberta. They are the proud sponsor of the Chris Perish podcast, and they were the host of AEW Worlds, and where I was there yesterday enjoying the great show that was AEW Worlds. And you can check the next wrestling show of the Royal Rumble at beercadewhyte, where there will be a few surprises there. And also make sure you're checking out the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. That's right. It's the a great introduction to not just podcasting, but content creation, and also the use of the StreamYard, but really a welcoming mat to the Turnbuckle Studios family that allows you to get on not just a calendar that we play every week, but on every show, but also a beautiful family that comes with it. You get to have shows. We will definitely be there for encouragement and all that stuff. So make sure that you're checking that out if you want to join the Turnbuckle Studios family, as well as everything that comes with it. Speaking. And then obviously, if you want to check out my good friends over at rogueenergy.com, you can check out all their amazing library and catalogs and flavors there. And at the checkout screen, make sure you use the promo code PERISH, PERISH, to get your 10% off, because the more you use it, the more they're like, hey, we like your traction. Chris Perish, do you want affiliation status? I'd be like, yeah, I do. And then we'll give you more than 10%. So if you use it, I can give you a bigger discount. So let's use it. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get 100% off. That would be a little bit of sweet now, wouldn't it? And then also just all the social medias. If you're following on the Instagram, the X account, the Twitch, the Facebook, and the YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're doing all that. That can all be featured on my link tree at linktr.ee/Chris Perish. We just want to welcome in our good old friend Bobby Badito, Bobby Stats, saying hello, Chris Perish. Hello, Bobby. How are you doing? How is your Sunday? My Sunday's doing a little bit of all right. Facebook is giving me a little bit of an issue. So if you're trying to get on Facebook, I'm just realizing you won't hear this because it's not working. But please, I hope everyone who's trying to watch on Facebook can look at other platforms as well. Bobby's saying he's doing good because I'm watching your show. Bobby, thank you for saying that. That is very nice and very sweet of you to say. I appreciate that. And I always appreciate you on I'm just happy that you're here. I don't know what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. Sometimes you just say things and you're just like, maybe the words just aren't there. The words aren't ready to clock into work yet today, so even though the mouth is just waiting to go. But yeah, we have a good, fun show. I am going to hand out my personal year-end awards for the WWE. That's right. I'm letting everybody know right away. These are just WWE awards. I say that because, yes, I'm primarily a WWE viewer. I do occasionally watch Heather stuff. I will be watching TNA when it's on the Sportsnet, which is a Canadian broadcasting station. So if people haven't been aware of that, TNA is picking up a WWE's old Sportsnet provider here in Canada. So yeah, TNA for the first time will be a regular on Canadian broadcasting since we're really like the good old. It's the first time it's on a Canadian broadcasting service, but because normally it was on like the Spike TV or TNN, or kind of where WWE Raw was on, like back in like I want to say the Attitude, or not Attitude era, but the Ruthless Aggression is what I was thinking of. Yeah, that's right. Bobby coming in and saying, recently on NXT, another WWE Women's Tag Team from Raw, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance showed up on NXT. Yeah, and I'm very much enjoying the fact that if WWE doesn't have much going on in terms of Raw and SmackDown for their talent, that NXT is always an option for those talents. It's always a nice way of just seeing that, hey, this might be a couple months or a couple weeks or just even a show here and there, but are you okay just, going back to the PC and doing a few shows for NXT just so we can keep you kind of going? And it's always good too because especially with women's tag team wrestling, like the tag team titles can be on any show, so it doesn't necessarily affect tag teams as much. You just want to be active because you want to be in that title scene. And right now, obviously, there is so much going with Naomi and Bianca right now, especially with the whole Who Attacked Jade. And then knowing that there's Nia and Tiffany and Candice LeRae kind of poking in around the titles, you kind of have that scene for the immediate time occupied. So having teams like Katana Chance and Kaden Carter kind of showing up and doing a couple things in NXT, I'm assuming they're doing something around working with maybe like Fatal Influence. Am I right on that, Bobby? Or let me know more about what they did, because I did not watch NXT this past week. I just read what happened. I have this weird thing with like a wing poking out of my hat right now. I'm not enjoying that. But yeah, if by chance people are trying to find the show on Facebook, I am currently working on it. I believe it is up already, and you can watch it. So if Facebook was a primary platform for you to watch, it is up already. So yes, hopefully everyone who is a Facebook watcher of the show understands that there was just a little bit of issues. Why, I don't know, but yeah, it is back up, it is going. So thank you for being patient on that. Now I'm gonna just scatter these awards kind of throughout the show. I'm not going to have a rhyme or reason through this, but I will kind of just, tattoo them somewhere along here. So Bobby coming in saying this could be doing a triple threat match on the next episode of NXT between Kaden Carter, Katana Chance versus Shotzi, and Gigi Dolan versus the Meta Girls. Okay. I like that because you're getting so many more people involved. And but if I'm looking at Shotzi and Gigi Dolan, I believe Fatal Influence has been feuding with them or working with them. So maybe there is a way for that to become a Fatal 4-way tag, which I wouldn't hate. It's been a while since we've seen kind of a Fatal 4-way tag for the women. And then we have CBRS Entertainment coming in saying, I have arrived. Good afternoon, Perish. I am very happy that you are here. Hello, how are you doing, Mr. Best of Her? I appreciate that. Hopefully everything's going well. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who is poking in on the Instagram and the X account. I always appreciate that. So yeah, for the first award we have, and you got to bear with me because I have to click a boatload of buttons for this stuff because I did not make it easy on me. Bobby coming in saying Shotzi and Gigi and Tatum Paxley have been feuding with Fatal Influence. Yeah, there. So I definitely do believe that Fatal Influence will be kind of poking their nose into that match just a little bit. If I was to give a prediction. So yeah, let's go with our first winner, or our first nominee, or just our first award, and that is, if we're talking first, we're talking about debuts, right? So I have a debut award. So in the WWE, who won, or who are the nominees for the 2024 Debut of the Year award? And as my nominees, I kind of look at, people who I didn't expect, right? Like, who really took me by surprise, but also, like, what did they do? Like, did their debut actually warrant something? So yeah, even though we're talking about their debut, we are talking still about what they did, because just showing up is one thing. Like Chris Jericho showing up on Monday Night Raw. Now that was a holy, what experience. But then also, if he just fizzled out, you're just like, right? But if he did something of value coming in, like our finalists here, and I had Jacob Fatu, I had the Motor City Machine Guns, and I had Ethan Page. Now, out of curiosity, I'd like to hear what you guys think about who won, because that could be, I don't know, I'd like you guys to be involved too. So Jacob Fatu, Motor City Machine Guns, and Ethan Page, and I will give a reasoning to what I am. And and the winner, it's not me, although I do like it. Bobby coming in and saying Ethan Page, and guess what, Bobby? As the winner, I do have Ethan Page as that winner, and the reason why I have Ethan Page as my winner, it's very close. I mean, obviously, everyone held a title. Jacob Fatu did hold the tag title for a brief amount of time. Motor City Machine Guns obviously won the tag titles within just 2 weeks. Ethan Page, in about 6 weeks, won the NXT Championship. And the reason why I went with Ethan Page was simply because of this. The Motor City Machine Guns were in an opportunity as soon as they made their first entry. So as soon as they stepped out of gorilla position onto the stage of SmackDown, they were already in a tournament. So there was no really journey for them to claw into the opportunity. Now, obviously, I'm not faulting them at all for this. Like, it's an amazing opportunity. It's a great shock, because originally, remember, we thought the Motor City Machine Guns were just a surprise opponent for A-Town Down Under, but it was actually, it ended up being into a tag team championship tournament match. Ethan Page, however, made the opportunity for himself. He showed up. He took out Trick Williams. He took out a few people as well. And because of that, he made the opportunity for himself. So not only did he come in and take a situation, he also made the whole brand really revolve around him. He really was the story of NXT, the whole brand. I wouldn't necessarily say the Motor City Machine Guns or Jacob Fatu made SmackDown about them. I thought Ethan Page really took the word of NXT and built it around him. And within 6 weeks, he became the NXT champion, and he was the face of that brand. And I don't think Jacob Fatu nor the Motor City Machine Guns did that. And I don't think they were ever considered the face of SmackDown for a brief time. But I thought Ethan Page, from start to, that 6 weeks, really was the catalyst of where NXT was for that time, and you really kind of put them out there. Plus, I think not having that title opportunity and then making it and then getting it and then doing it, I think there just was a lot more that came out of it. So I do have Ethan Page as my debut of the year award. Now, also, I just want to let everybody know these are my opinions. These aren't just, what I think. It's not just based on other people's opinions. I'm just doing this based on what I enjoy. So you guys might have a different opinion, and that's great. Nobody's right or wrong. They're just different, and I hope everyone can appreciate that. Congrats to Ethan Page. Yes, hopefully, if you're watching and you accept my PNG style award, you will appreciate it and really take it in and really understand how important this achievement is. I don't have a name for these. This is really looking there. So I'm just calling it the Chris Perish podcast year-end awards. It's a working title, and it will work all the way till next year, where I will probably put very little effort into until probably a week before. I didn't do that this year. I promise. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah. Also, I'm just letting you know that there are about 11 awards, so I might run through a few of them at once. I got a little giddy when it came down to all these, so hopefully bear with me. Do you guys like the whole winner thing, or do you just want to see me remove myself and show the award? I was battling that. It's a lot of buns. I didn't realize kind of the scrolling I also have to do. These are the times where, I'm going to be honest, if you're doing this, just one person, it's a lot of work. And that's what I'm doing, because why make it easier on myself? I don't do stuff like that. So, yay me. Bobby, I appreciate that. Bobby just liked the video, and yes, that's right. If you're watching on YouTube, you can click the thumbs up button. I please encourage you to do so. It definitely helps kind of the analytics and all that on the YouTube side. They let me know saying, hey, what you're doing is good. And we like that. And I don't know if you guys know this, but on YouTube, if you get a lot of subscribers, you don't have to actually put the number in. I know that. Chris, Best, you're gonna probably do that. They give you this little nice little plaque saying you're good, and I kind of want one. So if you guys want to like and subscribe on the YouTube page, I would appreciate that, because I want one of those little plaques saying that I matter. Yay! But yeah, next award we have, because that's the segue I'm going with. Best. Yep, I want one too. LOL. Yep. I mean, yeah. Next award that we have, I'm gonna go with the Show of the Year award, and the shows I picked for this year, I mean, it was hard with I think it was very easily. You could pick almost just about any shows. I mean, there's definitely some shows where just they were okay. There was nothing wrong about them, but they just weren't spectacular. But for me specifically, I picked WrestleMania 40, Bad Blood, and Bash at Berlin. And the reason why I picked those, obviously WrestleMania is WrestleMania. I mean, that goes without saying. It's just a spectacle. And it's 2 nights. So you get pampered on WrestleMania weekend. But I thought Bad Blood was just a fantastic show. It started off with a bang. It ended off with a bang. And because of that, they really nailed, I don't want to say they, I mean WWE, they really nailed so much. If you played the video game, they tell you to kind of have the up and down swing. I felt they did that very well there. And really a Bash at Berlin too. And then when you incorporate the fans, and that aura that came in. And that's why like I had a very hard time not picking more international shows, just because of how much the fans made these shows just feel like a completely different spectacle. It was hard for me not to pick at least one international. But also Bad Blood, I just felt was like just a fantastic show, start to finish. Right. So that is what I decided to do. And let's have a little fun. Now. WrestleMania 40. How could you not? Best coming in saying, I mean, the fans in France made Backlash. And that's exactly what it, right? Like the fans in Backlash was like they were just next level, but I didn't think the show itself, like if you muted the fans and just the show and watched it, that's an example to me of a show that didn't have much wrong with it, but there wasn't anything that stood out to me. It was the fans that stood out. And I can't put the stock into that. So, Bobby saying great pick and best, and so Bobby are just having a good fun time. So yeah, WrestleMania 40 is a pick of the show of the year. I mean, how could you not though? I mean, that build up with Rock, Roman, Cody, and Seth, like just right, like you can't do much better in terms of storytelling, or can you? Yeah. So, where can we go next? What award do we want to go to next? Let's. All right, let's. Where are all my awards? There we go. Let's go with Tag Team of the Year. Let's do that. Tag Team of the Year. I had. This is going to be a controversial candidate, but when they were going, and yes, it was at the beginning of the year, they were pretty unstoppable. And that was the tag team of Damian Priest and Finn Balor as one candidate. We had DIY as a second candidate because, I mean, let's face it, not a lot of two-time champions in the tag team division here. And then another one comes out of NXT, and that was being Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Simply because, I mean, from year end or year start to year end, I mean, how could you really not count them in? I mean, they were together. They were always around the tag team title picture. They were pretty much inseparable. And they did a few things individually, but they also came back and always circled back. And just when you always thought that they were gonna break up, they came back together and were stronger. And that's kind of the same thing with DIY as well. You got that little tease of the split with DIY, and then they fooled everybody, and then they became tag team champions. And then with Damian Priest and Finn Balor, this was one that I really had because there were other candidates like the War Raiders and obviously the Motor City Machine Guns, even Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, A-Town Down Under. Like all those teams were definitely in the mix there. And the reason why I went with Damian Priest and Finn Balor was when they were together, even if it was that January to April set, they were completely dominant in the tag team picture. And that is a third of a year right there. And not a lot of tag teams really were dominant for more than 4 months. And they were. Or at least 4 months, sorry. And they were. So that is why I had them in there. And yeah, and the winner of the tag team award is but I mean, like I said, year start, year end, they were the team to beat in NXT. Every single thing about the tag team division in NXT had to be pretty much around Fraxium, except for the women's tag team bouts. And the reason, and I'm going to say this, the reason why there was no women's tag teams is simple. Other than whoever wore the tag team titles, and they were really never kind of on somebody for that long. We're kind of seeing longer reigns now with Bianca, but like even Bianca so far has had two people that she's been champions with, and Jade and now Naomi. It just sadly still felt like a hot potato thing, and that was unfortunate, especially when shows went back to 2 hours. You got a lot less women tag team matches, or not matches, but like stories and feuds, right? Like, so the attention of those titles kind of dimmed a little bit, even though you always saw them. It was just one of those things where they didn't make the women's tag team titles feel amazingly special all year round. For parts of the year they did, but not all year, and that's helping. Also, shout out, I'm just going to put this, I do think the SmackDown tag team titles win the award of new titles brought out. I mean, come on, those titles. And that's the thing. I wanted to do the title of the year award based on just like overall look, but it was kind of hard to pick. But yeah, so that is the award. Fraxium winning the tag team championship, or the tag team of the year award there. So hopefully you appreciate that. Next up, we have the return of the year. And the return of the year award goes to, and I'm not going to give this to, every single one. Oh, you missed 2 weeks and you come back, that's a return. Don't count it. You have to be gone for at least 2-3 months. And my candidates are as followed. It was very simple to pick whoever. Like, if Charlotte came back or Alexa Bliss came back, they would have been immediately in this. But the candidates are War Raiders. Obviously, just knowing what their story was, how close we were to not seeing them back, I thought was just an incredible story. To now that you know what their journey was away from the ring and how it was in the fight just to get back into it, it was very, very inspiring, to say the least. So happy to see them back, happy to see them be tag champions. The other one was Roman Reigns. Obviously, we do know that after losing at WrestleMania 40, he took some time off after his 1,300-day reign as WWE Universal Champion and Unified Undisputed Champion, and then coming back at just later in the year at SummerSlam. It was definitely a and then I also had didn't even think of the Warriors when we talked about this last night. I told you I had some people that you weren't gonna think about, but when the story kind of comes out, they make you feel. Yeah. And the other one was Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan kind of as their own. So I had four people kind of here, and I kind of have to put them together in a weird way because they returned together, but they are their individual kind of thing. So I do have 4 nominees. This is kind of a special thing. So the winner of the return of the And if you want to know why I chose them, it's very simple. Go back and watch the Wyatt Six when they came back. Outside of maybe a couple things else that weren't returns, there wasn't much that made you feel that way. When we talk about the story of the War Raiders, it was, I'm not even telling you how close it was between War Raiders and these two. It was exceptionally close. But obviously with Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan was released. Obviously with the unfortunate passing of Bray Wyatt, started getting a little bit more traction again. Definitely popped up in AEW for a bit as Eric Redbeard. That didn't really go anywhere. Then all of a sudden, Bo Dallas, who was Uncle Howdy, we all know that he was kind of doing stuff with his brother. We all know that kind of took a hiatus. We weren't sure kind of what to make. And then all of a sudden we started seeing some videos appear online away from the WWE. And then all of a sudden we started seeing those cryptic videos. We started seeing that all these different things about, hey, Bray Wyatt could be coming back. And because of that, we not just got Bray Wyatt in a way, like the spirit of Bray Wyatt back, but we got the aura of Bray Wyatt back. We got a lot of things, and it was through his brother, Bo Dallas, who at times shows a very creepy resemblance to Bray Wyatt. I say creepy because obviously they're brothers. They're going to have similar features, but oh God, is it a little bit of a goosebump shake when you see how close the visual can be between the two. Chris Best coming in saying those QR codes that popped up every episode had us all trying to put the pieces together on what the Wyatt Six had planned. I'm gonna just say the truth. I didn't have any issue with it. I just said, Best, you're on the job. And I just kind of like, well, whatever. I was curious. Don't get me wrong. I was definitely curious. I wanted to know. But that is on a different pay grade, my friend. That is why. That's one of the reasons. Well, we love you because you have that ability to kind of do that. But those QR codes were fun. All that was fun. Seeing Bo Dallas, seeing Eric Rowan back in the WWE, that just warms your heart. It really does. And not just doing that, but now they're thriving kind of in their own way too. And I think that is something that was just so good to see. It wasn't that now that they're the second fiddle to Bray Wyatt, they're doing their own thing. Yes, they're doing it together and they're doing it in kind of in honor of Bray, but they're doing their own thing. And it's kind of nice to see that. And I think they're just scratching the surface of what's to come. So that is what I have in terms of return of the year. I didn't realize how long these kind of took, so maybe we are just going to nail them out all in concession or in sequence, whatever the right word that is, because I clearly don't know it. Next up, we have the Rookie of the Year award. Now, I was talking to Bubba Duke a few days ago, and he was talking about how he wasn't sure kind of how to think about the breakout of the year. And I kind of told him, like, the way I see it, the breakout is somebody who was always there and then just happened to put the pieces together and then flourish. But he was always there. Now, the Rookie of the Year is somebody new to the scene and to, have a good kind of first year with every roster. Now, when you're like, okay, well, does Braun Breaker count as a rookie? Yes, to Raw and SmackDown, he is. because there's that perception of a main roster and the development of NXT. So people still say the phrase, oh, I hope this person gets called up from NXT. So you kind of have to look at that as, hey, if you're being called up, well, if you're in professional hockey and you're in the AHL, which is the affiliation to the NHL, and you get called up and you play your first NHL game, that's still your first NHL game. And if you get called up and play a first year, that's still your rookie year. Now, obviously, the league will then say, well, you're a little, like, there is an age range where you can't be a rookie, but still your first year is on, that level, still consider your rookie year. So the Rookie of the Year finalists are simple. Prior to 2024, they weren't in WWE. So I'll make it easier. I didn't go the route of Braun Breaker. The Rookie of the Year finalists were Ethan Page, Jacob Fatu, and Jade Cargill. Now, you can say, well, Jade actually showed up in 2023. Yeah, but her first match with WWE was 2024 at the Royal Rumble. So she actually had her rookie season in WWE in 2024. Feels like a long time ago. Definitely does. So, the winner of to as the Rookie of the Year, and this is why. Ethan Page, yeah, you got the debut, man. You have the debut. And the reason why you don't have both is because you fizzled out after you lost the NXT title. Not in a bad way. You do have a great storyline. But in my eyes, you were the head of the brand, and then you kind of died down a bit. It's now Trick Williams' brand, right? So you kind of lost that place. Bobby's saying, I'm enjoying the award show. Well, thank you. I'm very happy you are. Obviously, I'm decked out in my beautiful black and gold. So I definitely dressed up for the occasion. Obviously, with Jade Cargill, I thought she made a very big impact at the Royal Rumble. I thought she carried that momentum throughout the entire year. Yes, she went from her own act to being in a tag team with Bianca Belair, but I definitely thought they took the tag team women's division by storm. And she is a lot more of a solidified piece in the women's roster today than she was in January. She is a multi-time tag team champion with Bianca Belair. And right now she's in a storyline of who took her out, which is a focal point in SmackDown. So it was a very hard decision not to choose Jade Cargill for this specific one. Until you had somebody as dominant as Jacob Fatu. He has briefly held the tag team championship. He has been a crucial member of the Solo Sikoa's bloodline this year. He was, in my eyes, a breakout star in the War Games match. He has been a game changer in the Bloodline versus Bloodline feud, which is still the biggest feud in WWE. Was it the best feud? We will get there. We will get there. But just when you thought Roman Reigns had the up and ups on Solo Sikoa, enter Jacob Fatu to the situation, and the Samoan werewolf would tell you otherwise. And I think what Jacob Fatu means to the show right now, he is irreplaceable. He takes the level or he takes the show to a different level in terms of aggressiveness, viciousness, and just straight up brutality. And that is something that heading into 2025, with Raw going to Netflix, with potentially everything being upped, Jacob Fatu, I think, is your prime breakout star going into 2025. So yeah, the rookie of the year goes to Jacob Fatu, and Jade Cargill, close second. So that'll take us to now the breakout of the year. Why? Because, well, we're talking about the breakout. We're talking about who had a year where, from January 1 to 2024, whose stock was raised the most, as we talk here on December 29th, 2024. And the finalists are Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, the Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, and the man we love to yeet with, Jey Uso, Mr. Main Event, Jey Uso. So let me know in your comments who you think the breakout superstar of WWE is. Let me know your opinions. Let me know your guess. Actually, don't even guess. Just let me know who you would pick. If you want to guess who I would pick, that's one thing. But let me know who you guys would pick. So the winner Braun Breaker definitely was a close second here. Tiffany Stratton, had she cashed in, probably would have cashed in the win here. But you're getting some up and downs with her teasing of the cash in. Is she going to cash in today? Is she going to cash in tomorrow? That's definitely kind of wavered it, but you still can't take away, her performance in the Elimination Chamber, how that entire crowd wanted her to win. And then you take that all the way into Money in the Bank, where she won and everyone was just elated. She looks like she is primed for a very early candidacy to the 2025 breakout. And yes, that's how good she's going to be. She has the potential of being back-to-back in the breakout of the year category. But the reason why I picked Jey Uso was, let's face it, nobody's stock was higher. Jey Uso might be one of the top baby faces in the entire company, let alone he won the Intercontinental Championship. And at one point, as much as he wanted to see him win the Intercontinental Championship, you can argue that he was so hot right now that, yes, he wanted just to see a championship on him, but he doesn't need it to still be one of the most popular acts in WWE. Everybody wants to yeet. Everyone wants to put their hands up and go up and down and chant yeet, to the point where even Roman Reigns was saying no yeet for the longest time. And we all know how big that reaction was when he accepted Jey Uso's help for the War Games match, when Roman Reigns himself said yeet. Whether you're Stone Cold Steve Austin and you want to say, what? Whether you're LA Knight and you want to go, yeah. Jey Uso goes, yeet. And he's yeeting his way to the breakout of the year award here at the Chris Perish podcast. And I do think Jey Uso is a future world champion. And when you look at what he means to the WWE right now, I mean, he's a right now act. He's not a just wait and see what he does. No, he's a right now act. Jimmy also did say no yeet before. However, Jimmy was always saying yeet, and then Roman was saying no yeet. And that led to Jimmy saying no yeet just so he would appease Roman Reigns. So deep down, Jimmy was always a yeeter. So yeah, we got the breakout of the year. And 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 more awards before we take off. So we got a yeeter right here, and that is Jaylee Beans. How you doing? Nice to yeet you. I mean, that sounds weird, but nice to yeet you. I don't know. I'm no yeeter. Laughing. That's all that matters. On to the next award, shall we? And because of that, let's go with the moment of the year because, well, let's face it. I mean, that was an awkward moment right now with me. Yeah, it was a little bit of the awkward stage. So, yeah, let's go with the moment of the year award. And we have New Day turns. Yeah, that's right. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston turn on the fans. They turn on Big E instead of turning on each other like we were all thinking. They, just when we thought we knew the direction, they were working construction this whole time and they had a new highway that we didn't even know was open. And then we have Cody Rhodes finishing his story. It was a tale of time, but it was a tale that had a fairy tale ending because in my head, I knew I needed to say that phrase instead of the other one. And then we also had the Wyatt 6 debut. Those are your finalists for the Moment of the Year award on the Chris Perish podcast. Let me know who you guys would pick because in a few moments, you can have that imaginary drum roll. If you're doing the drum roll, you lose because that's an imaginary. Wyatt 6 debuting. I think this is a no-brainer. Obviously, Cody Rhodes finishing his story was gigantic. They made that match unbelievable. Like, when you talk about overbooking, that was the best overbook we'll see in a long time. The most unexpected moment, definitely New Day turning on Big E. But I think the moment that just made us feel even more speechless, or just as speechless as Xavier Woods and Big E, but also made us feel scared, made us feel excited, made us feel all the emotions in the world, was 100% when we started hearing the initial part of Bray Wyatt's theme song. And we're seeing the blue that comes out of light on our old bench, Jordan Grace, debuting in the Royal Rumble. Okay. I mean, yes, we'll go honorable mention. I didn't forget about it. But I feel Jordan Grace's moment is really coming soon. But yeah, why it's just made you feel everything. You felt that you got a little bit teary-eyed because you knew that was Bray. The blue door, that's definitely a reminiscent of Brody Lee, Luke Harper. So you got really reminiscent about that. You got excited for what we were hearing about what the Wyatt 6 was. Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan. Bo Dallas, Dexter Loomis. We saw all this kind of come to fruition. We saw Chad Gable look dead. We thought he was dead for the longest time. We saw the first time WWE started really doing that continuous shot, right? Nikki Cross comes out, points, the camera follows. You kind of do this 360 back into production, into Gorilla, only to see all the members kind of come out, only for Uncle Howdy. And remember the pop that Uncle Howdy got when he was shown as he collects everyone, only to grab the lantern and say, "We're here," and blow it out. Very Bray Wyatt-esque. It could have been 100 degrees and you still got chills. That is how much it made you feel, and that is what pro wrestling does. When it's done right, it makes you feel every single emotion possible. That's when you know you have something special, and I think that is why the Wyatt 6, in my eyes, is the moment of the year of 2024. Now, was it, in my eyes, the only moment? Of course not. 2024 is so filled with moments that we have a leak in the moment department. That's how many moments there was. But my opinion, give me the moments that make me feel every emotion possible. That's what it was. Now, when you want to feel emotions, it gets you riled up. It gets you so riled up that you might start a feud. And that's what we have next. It's the Feud of the Year award right now. And we have some really good ones. The finalists are, obviously, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. The reason why I go there is because ever since Solo Sikoa took the Ulafala and announced himself as a new tribal chief, it was instant. It was right after WrestleMania, and it's built from that point out to the rest of the year. Easily Roman Reigns' biggest feud in 2024. Yes, I know how big the Cody Rhodes thing is, but 4 months compared to 8, not even a question. The 8 triumphed before. What took place for the majority of the year was definitely Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, and that is why they made the list. It's a good list. The finalist list. The final list. There we go. Then obviously we had Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, another one that went through the entire year for the most part. And I don't think we have to go back but oh, my God. So the winner Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. We started off with the Royal Rumble with a moment that did not and was not expected. And that was CM Punk getting hurt in the Royal Rumble match, courtesy of Drew McIntyre. Only for Drew McIntyre to spit out the words to CM Punk on Raw, "I prayed for this to happen." Now, this escalates to Drew McIntyre winning the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, CM Punk sweeping his legs, costing him that moment, only for Damian Priest to cash in on just 5 minutes later. Went overseas, cost him the opportunity to be champion again, cost him the Money in the Bank cash in. Drew McIntyre then stole a bracelet that meant so much to CM Punk. They had an amazing bull rope match. They had a Hell in a Cell match. They had 3 amazing matches. And they had a hatred that really started to make you feel really at when watching Monday Night Raw. And I think it really started Drew McIntyre back into that picture of the last time we saw him there was right before he won the world title during the pandemic. I don't think we have seen Drew McIntyre in that light since then. He definitely had a road to get back to it, but now we're there. I'm not going to lie, Drew McIntyre, I thought could have been a breakout star. And I thought that's really messed up to say, given the fact that he is who he is. But when you really think about kind of where he was, they kind of went back down and then came back up again. It was kind of, 2024 was a breakout year for Drew McIntyre. It was 100% a breakout year for CM Punk, as he needed a year to rebound. And even though he wasn't in the ring a lot, every single match he had mattered and it meant something. And he was always around, whether it was commentating at WrestleMania, whether it was appearing in NXT, whether it was getting beat up, whether it was attacking people, whether it was a promo. He always was around for the most part. But yes, I have Feud of the Year goes to Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And let's be honest, was there really, other than Liv and Rio, was there really, they were second? Is there really any doubt? We then go to the match of the year. That is right. We're going to finish off with the male and female superstars of the year. We have 3 left. So the match of the year goes, and our choices are this. We talked about it. Hell in a Cell. Bad blood between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And I was writing down, I was choosing between an honorable mention of Gunther versus Randy Orton and Basha Berlin, but I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, also at WrestleMania 40. So let me know who is your pick in the comments below. But the winner in the Chris Perish Podcast Award, no. There's been a lot of Hell in a Cell matches. I've always said my favorite was, and still is, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, very first one. A lot of tried. In my eyes, there is no doubt. The second best Hell in a Cell match ever was Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. And I really, really have to watch both matches again. That is how good I do think that Hell in a Cell match was. I need to watch something again because I need to let nostalgia be left alone when watching this. But at the same time, this was the best way to close off that feud, to give the fans that closure to the story that they were building for so long. And I think, what a way to do it. Just what a way. They left it all in that ring, between that cell. The Hell in a Cell played a gigantic part to this, as it should. That's why it was done. CM Punk needed a performance of a lifetime to kind of get back to that point. Is he ever going to be a world heavyweight champion? He needs to have his best performance. And he did. And Drew McIntyre stepped up huge as well. So it's a shame that match was the opener, because, oh my God, was that the hardest match to probably go on after. But what a way to kick off a show, in my eyes. To me, this was the match of the year by a margin. I really don't think the one was close. Simply because John Cena, or Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. I'll let you. What part of that match do you guys remember the most? It's at the end, right? I mean, you got every return possible. You remember the overbook ending, and it was the best overbook ever. But that 100% capitalizes the match, in your opinion. And that's why it was hard for me not to go there, because even though you were there for the story, you were there for the whole thing, then the nostalgia really took over at points. With the CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, again, you go back to how it made you feel afterwards, and then you got amped up now to what's next. Oh my! And you're very happy with it. And yeah, so that is why I went there. So match of the year, Hell in a Cell match, Bad Blood, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Yeah. Next up, we got the male superstar of the year, and we have Seth Rollins. We have the Ring General, Gunther. And we have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Who is going to win this? Who would you pick? Here at the Chris Perish. Now you can make the argument, Gunther was a champion for almost the entire time. Correct. You're not wrong. But right from the beginning, Cody Rhodes was a favorite to win the Royal Rumble. He went back-to-back in the Royal Rumble. He solidified, as we thought, his place at WrestleMania main event, only until The Rock comes back. And we feel that the WWE was going to go with The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, but it was the fans that said, we want Cody. To the point where The Rock, the biggest star in the world right now, said, I can't compete with that. We aren't doing the right thing if we decided to go with me instead of their guy. So for the second time in just a decade, we really saw a change of direction in the main event. So instead of Rock versus Roman Reigns, a match everybody for years wanted, said, we're just gonna postpone this idea. And the want for Cody Rhodes replaced an anticipated matchup of Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, because we wanted Cody Rhodes to finish the story, because as fans, we feel more towards Cody Rhodes than Roman Reigns or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And ever since April, Cody Rhodes has been champion. He has been the face of the company. He has been the face of everything you wanted for the WWE. To the point, he was the one that got the Winged Eagle back onto TV. And that alone puts you in a place for Male Superstar of the Year. So yeah, did he have many matches that really made you go, oh my God, this is the best champion of all time? That's an opinion. I don't know. I'm going to personally say no. But I think what he was able to accomplish in this year, second to none. Not a lot of people went back-to-back on Royal Rumbles. Not a lot of people overshadowed The Rock at WrestleMania. And not a lot of people have said they've brought back once the Classic Intercontinental and now the Winged Eagle Championship. Cody Rhodes can say that. And he is also a man who can say he was the 2024 the Chris Perish Podcast Award Male Superstar of the Year. Which leads us to the main event. The final award, people. It is the Female Wrestler of the Year. Superstar Wrestler, whatever way you want to call it. Your finalists are Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne Perez. But before we get to that, I want to show you guys a video of everything Turnbuckle Studios and the affiliation program, Turnbuckle affiliation program, bring to you. And that you might see a little bit of a change. And that is why, because as we all know, tomorrow is the final Monday Night Raw of 2024. It's also the final Raw Patrol as you know it, as things will change. So I'm not going to sit here and say, let's promote what we are used to doing. Let's promote what we're going to be doing. So have fun as we see the new look of the Raw Patrol in this video that starts January 6th.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we get a variety stream with the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Perish Podcast at 12:15 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And there you go. Obviously, I got to make you wait for the final award. Obviously, I have to. I'm not doing my job. And before I get to it, if you like local pro wrestling and you want to go check out the Real Canadian Wrestling here in Edmonton, Alberta on January 11th, 2025, you can check out Chris Perish versus Cat Von Heath, as that's going to be part of New Year's Legacy over at the Real Canadian Wrestling. That's right, your boy going in to his 21st year in pro wrestling. That's right. This old man is going back in the ring in 2025. First match, 2003, really took off in 2004. Still going, 2025. Who knew? That's right. Bobby, like the logo, just you wait. And I appreciate that, by the way. I really do. I appreciate you saying that. I'm very proud of that logo. But just wait. Just wait till what we have. We got a new look, and it's going to be a new feel. But same tomfoolery. Yeah, we'll guarantee the same tomfoolery. So yeah, your candidates, the finalists for the Female Superstar of the Year: Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, for the last and final award here on the Chris Perish Podcast. The winner. That's right. The current women's champion, Liv Morgan, is my pick. And the reason is I looked at whose stock really out of the three jumped the most here. I think Roxanne Perez has definitely shown that she is capable, babyface heel, working whatever they need her to work. And I'm very happy they decided to keep her in NXT for this time. But I do think 2025 could be the right year to bring Roxanne Perez to a Raw or SmackDown. Obviously, Rhea Ripley was probably on pace to have another dominant year, but let's be honest, the injuries really took it to her. And as much as we were happy to see her come back so many times, it really kind of had that pause button on her momentum. And I really felt that hopefully going into Raw January 6, 2025, where she does go up against Liv Morgan for that women's world title, we will see kind of the start of her just being back full time. But the person who kind of took everything by storm, picked the ball up, and decided this is my game now was Liv Morgan. The storyline with Dominic Mysterio, obviously, that kind of transcended kind of the way that feud went. Her bringing back in Raquel Rodriguez really kind of made her more of that protected champion, and she really solidified in being that, girl next door that we can't stand. But I also think everything is just clicking for Liv Morgan right now. You see it with the confidence, you see it with the aura, you see it with everything she does. She is performing on another level. She is carrying the championship like she knows she belongs there. She knows that that's where she has to be and she should be. It's not where she's inspiring to be and hoping to be. No. She knows she's a world champion. She's not just hoping to be world champion. She knows that's what she is. And that's the confidence of Liv Morgan as a performer we see now. And I think, it takes somebody special to understand that something happened, like a Rhea Ripley getting hurt. And they definitely had that little, hey, let's give it a Becky. Becky Lynch wins the championship, but at some point somebody has to take it from her. Liv Morgan was that right person, and that really transcended her into that next realm, especially with everything that goes down. I thought this was her best year, and I'm definitely looking forward to what 2025 will be for Liv Morgan as well. And I really do think it's going to be a feud away from the championship with Becky Lynch. I do think that just makes a lot of sense. She claims to have taken Becky Lynch out. I do think Rhea Ripley wins back that championship on January 6th, but I definitely think Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch is definitely in the cards in 2025. So that really is the 2024 Chris Perish podcast year-end awards. Once again, your winners are: the moment of the year is the Wyatt 6 debut. Your rookie of the year is Jacob Fatu. Your show of the year is WrestleMania 40. Your tag team of the year is Fraxium. Your debut of the year is All Ego Ethan Page. Your return of the year goes to Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan. Your breakout star of the year is Jey Uso. Your feud of the year is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Your match of the year is the Hell in a Cell match from Bad Blood between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Your male superstar of the year is the American Nightmare and the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. And your female superstar of the year is the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. Bobby saying, great show as always, Chris Perish. Well, thank you. I try. I do. And that is the 57th installment of the Chris Perish podcast. So I do want to say thank you. I want to give another shout out to beercadewhyte, as yesterday kind of was the first day where, we definitely announced this partnership going into Survivor Series. But just walking up the stairs going into Beercade yesterday, they have this poster for Advertising World's End, and just seeing the Chris Perish podcast logo there just kind of was really cool to see. Knowing that, I've created something, and seeing it kind of out there in the world for other people to see, it's still a little mind-blowing, a little bit of a So yeah, pat of the back moment. Obviously, it was weird because for a lot of people who know me, I decided not to indulge in alcohol for the month of December, and actually the last one I did have was at the Survivor Series, November 30th, and it was very, very hard because I wanted to celebrate that moment. So I definitely had some chicken tendies. So Dominic Mysterio, if you're watching, just understand I had chicken tendies, and they were delicious. And just know that I'm a chicken tendies guy too. Have to, right? So yeah, but that will do it. That will conclude the 57th edition of the Chris Perish podcast. I want to let everyone know once again to help support beercadewhyte, and you can do so on the below links. beercadewhyte on the X, beercadewhyte on Instagram, beercadewhyte on Facebook. Locally, they are at 105 82nd Avenue in Edmonton, Alberta. And they are amazing. They definitely have a lot of specials. They have a lot of events going on. I will be promoting that, obviously, because they do sponsor the show, of course, and that's kind of in the agreement. But yes, check them out, show some love, follow them on all their platforms, and also the affiliation program.my.canva.site. Again, if you want to get your introduction to podcasting, to content creation, if you want to become a member and a proud family member of the Turnbuckle Studios, hit that link and let's get it started. There is no better time to start living your dream than right now. So go do that. And then also, if you can, go check out rogueenergy.com. Use my promo code Perish on checkout to save yourself 10%. Help me, that way. Help me out in a better way. Go to my link tree down below and hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribe. And also, what you'll see also there is also my Spotify account. And if you want to go and check that out and hit a like and a follow on the Spotify account, I would be very appreciative of that as well. So that is something I'm very hoping to grow in 2025. Chris Best saying, literally added chicken tenders to my grocery list just now. They're just delicious. Bobby coming in saying, I'm looking forward to watching your episode of your show in 2025. Yes. And thank you, Bobby. I almost forgot. Next week, we will have some guests. I will announce those guests tomorrow. Why? Because I love messing with people, and I love just making you wait for it. Plus, got to advertise tomorrow's show. The last Raw Patrol as we know it, the last Raw 2024. Yes, everything will be available tomorrow, but we will definitely do the second annual Chris Perish podcast draft next week on episode 58, as me and two other people will definitely take the helm of being the network of either the USA or Netflix or the CW. Somebody will represent Raw, somebody will represent SmackDown, somebody will represent, holy cow, NXT, and and we're gonna have our draft, and not only a draft, we're gonna book a. We're going to draft a guy, and then by that show ends, we are going to book a show, and the audience will be able to vote on what show is the show for them. So tune in to next week, same Perish time, same Perish channel, and it's the final week in a lot of people's fantasy football draft. So have fun, be nice. Obviously, go Saints. They need help right now. But yeah. But that'll do it for the episode 57 Chris Perish podcast. I'm going to remind everyone that you stay happy, stay healthy, be yourself. Because at the end of the day, you matter. And we don't want anybody else to be you. Your reflection is your friend. But at the end of the day, mental health is important. Goodbye, everyone.
Through the clouds, fast to catch us from falling close to